10:33 p.m. on March 31st, 2023. I'm raiding my own stash, right? It's the last chance. You wouldn't be forthright about it before, right? You wanted to say, what is this? Intelligence? All right. Did you get a search warrant? Did you get one of those mini recorders where you get the picture and then you get out? What does she have? To say, Pétain, hero or traitor, the untold story. Herbert R. Lotman. Well. What does she have this for? Page 146. In November 1938, Pétain traveled to Metz for the 20th anniversary of the entry of French troops into the liberated Lorraine. Painted a grim portrait of a present-day France, which had allowed most of the advantages of our victory to escape. The French had let themselves be lured by material pleasures and desires. France's decline was due to the abandonment of all spiritual life in the framework of the nation, for the world is governed by ideas. He told the Congress of the National Veterans Union, "It's our very lack of seriousness which is the cause of our divisions." Well. Is this supposed to be emblematic of where she's coming from? What does this say? The French had let themselves be lured by material pleasures and desires. It would seem that we've hit on something, right? Number 2, what else do we have here? Voices Against Tyranny. Writings of the Spanish Civil War. Why would she have this? Where does this go? Arthur Kessler. Kessler's own story. 1. Malaga was in danger. 25 days after my arrest, I received my first message from the outside world. It was a ball of screwed brown Spanish cigarette paper flung through the spy hole of my cell in the prison in Seville. Unfolding it, I found a few lines scrawled in childish handwriting with many spelling mistakes. It ran, quote, "Comrade, we know that you are here and that you are a friend of the Spanish Republic. You have been condemned to death, but they will not shoot you. They are too much afraid of the new King of England. They will only kill us, the poor and humble. Yesterday, again, they shot 17 in the cemetery. In our cell, where there were 100, there are now only 73. Dear comrade foreigner, we 3 are also condemned to death, and they will shoot us this night or tomorrow. But you may survive, and if you ever come out, you must tell the world all about those who kill us because we want liberty and no Hitler. The victorious troops of our government have reconquered Toledo, and we have also got Oviedo, Victoria, and Badajoz. And soon they will be here and will carry us victoriously through the streets. Further letters will follow this one. Courage. We love you. 3 Republican militiamen." Why would she have this? Well, not so ironically, after surveilling her voice messages and her electronic communications, including one she only keeps to herself. She's read this specific passage before, so it would seem this is accurate. As a matter of fact, this is the writing she turned to the day she acquired this book, which was what she acquired in connection with something else she did for which other people have attempted to condemn her. She contends that the reason she did what she did is because when she found this book, this is the passage she turned to. She thought it spoke to the material realities at the moment and claims it vindicates her claim. But what else is there? In journalism, you need 3 sources in order to prove a fact. Is she in fact guilty? What is this other book she has? The Tempering of Russia, Ilya Ehrenberg, author of The Fall of Paris. Why would she have this book? 6 children froze to death. One of them a year old, one of them 3 months. I saw their bodies beside the pit in the blue snow. The children looked as if they were sleeping. 80-year-old Tarkova carried her 3-year-old grandson in her arms through the deep snow. She begged the soldier, "Let him get warm." They drove her off. The grandmother's hands froze. When the Germans came, they took away her sheepskin coat, her felt shoes, and her mittens. The old woman let the baby fall in the snow and could not pick him up. He cried, "Grandmother, don't leave me." The little boy froze to death. The old woman survived, but the fingers on her hands are gone. 36 of the inhabitants of the village of Cancino were killed by the Germans, 9 of them children. I belong to the generation that lived through the World War and the Civil War and has lasted on to this one. It has made me accustomed to the sight of dead bodies. But for all that, I cannot think calmly about the fate of the commonplace village of Cancino. There were horrible brutalities. In a pit near Kerch, they found the bodies of 7,004 inhabitants of the town: Russians, Tatars, Jews, old men, women, children, at the breast. In Feodosia, the Germans killed all the Jews, from decrepit old men to newborn children, 704. Then they asked Berlin, "Are the Karaites to be counted as Jews?" Berlin answered, "Yes. They killed 242 Karaites." You might ascribe all this to isolated Germans, but in Cancino, there were 1,000 German soldiers each week. By the end of 3 months, 12,000 had been in Cancino at different times, and not one of the 12,000 would let freezing children come into a warm cottage. That is horrible brutality. It is more horrible than war. That entry was the one right before March 7th. My understanding is she was reading this day by day. The next one is for April 4th.